In the 19th century, Osage Indians preserved memories with life masks. 200 years later, in a laboratory outside Washington, this is the 21st century equivalent.
So, as I'm painting the laser across the surface, it's picking up hundreds and hundreds of points, soon to be thousands and thousands of points of measurements of the surface of this object.
3D scanning bounces laser beams off objects, mapping them in space. Revolutionary technology with extraordinary possibilities. Take a 3D scan and combine it with a 3D printer, for instance, and people can make their own copies of Abraham Lincoln's face mask.
The 3D printing software will take that 3D model and divide it into thousands or hundreds of thousands of 2D slices. And then it will deposit a layer on top of layer on top of layer. It'll actually grow the model to the point where you have the complete object coming out of your printer.
Once the exhibit is scanned, it can also be turned into 3D models online, which can be explored on any web browser. Pretty much anything can be scanned, however big or complex. With the right equipment, Smithsonian scientists were able to scan all the complicated geometry of this fossilized mammoth skeleton, and even the Wright brothers aircraft.
We 3D scanned the 1903 Wright Flyer, and now what we have is an ability to take that 3D scan and show the world and let them interact with that data in really interesting ways.
So you couldn't do that in the museum? You can't climb on board the wing in the museum and have a look at the engine or anything, can you?
Yeah, they discourage that. You'd probably be escorted out if you climbed on the 1903 Wright Flyer.
So actually the people at home are getting sort of more intimate access to your exhibits than they would if they're in the museum? Exactly.
That's exactly right. And that's something we're really excited about. And we're just now scratching the surface. So again, we've done this with 20 Smithsonian objects. Imagine if we did this with 100, with 1,000, and put that online for the world to see and have fun with and learn, and also to support research that's happening all around the world.
The technology also lets Smithsonian scientists record new discoveries like never before. When the Pan American Highway was being widened in Chile, 40 fossilized whale skeletons turned up. The team flew out to record the discovery before the bulldozers moved in.
We 3D scanned it on site, so we went to Chile along with the natural history research team, and we 3D scanned 8 complete fossil whale specimens. The really great thing about that is that we're able to allow for research to continue even while this site no longer exists.
Back home, they've begun the enormous task of copying existing artefacts, so each one has its digital equivalent stored in the archives.
We are one of the largest museums in the world, and we have many visitors, but the vast majority of the United States, let alone the rest of the world, don't get to actually come to our museums. And so by digitizing them this way and making our models available in a very visceral way, we can share our collections almost as if people could come to the museums themselves.
Sharing the Smithsonian's vast collection could, though, take some time. 20 artefacts have been scanned so far. Another 137 million to go. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Washington.